Every year, Jewish families celebrate the Feast of Tabernacles. It's one of the three great pilgrim feasts of the Bible, the other two being Passover and Pentecost. In the Holy Bible, God instructs Moses in Leviticus chapter 23 to have all native-born Israelites live in booths for 7 days as a yearly reminder of how their forefathers lived for 40 years on their way to the Promised Land. Today, the feast is now a universal celebration incorporating both Jews and the Gentiles. And there's no better place to celebrate the feast than in the Promised Land, Israel. 25 years ago, the International Christian Embassy of Jerusalem was formed during the celebration of the Feast of Tabernacles. This was in reaction to the withdrawal of 13 national embassies in Jerusalem after the Israeli parliament declared that the city of Jerusalem was the undivided eternal capital of the state of Israel established by King David almost 3,000 years earlier. On the 25th anniversary of the International Christian Embassy of Jerusalem, around 5,000 pilgrims from around the world showed up for the celebration of the feast in Jerusalem. Among them, over 200 from the United States and a small group of 16 from the Bible literacy class of the Champion Forest Baptist Church in Houston, Texas. This is their story. The River Jordan is Israel's most important river. Flowing from the north, it feeds the Sea of Galilee and the Dead Sea. In the book of Mark chapter 1, we learn that Jesus was baptized by John the Baptist in the River Jordan. Christian visitors to Israel usually take the opportunity to be baptized at this site on the Jordan River at Kibbutz Kinneret. The climax of our trip and the feast is the National Day of Prayer for the Peace of Jerusalem. Pilgrims assemble in the park for the annual Jerusalem March through the city.
Shalom, shalom. Brazil really loves Israel. Shalom, shalom.
It's now become a tradition for the children to accept national flags, buttons and sweets from pilgrims from all over the world who are here showing their love and support for Israel and Jerusalem.
Stay strong, America! Stand with Israel! Thank you for coming!
Thank you for coming!
There are still more sights to see in Israel that can be traced in the Bible. Being in the Promised Land for the Feast of Tabernacles is a treat, but being in Israel alone is a blessing that has a way of confirming and sealing one's faith in God. For the students of the Biblical Literacy class, it was a practical journey through the Bible.
Two of the places that touched me the most were when we were floating in the boat on the Sea of Galilee and singing and just praising God and thinking, this is where Jesus walked on water. I mean, it just really overcame me. And the other one was the Garden Tomb, when we did our communion there, and to just think that all of the things that Jesus had went through and he had died there on that cross for me, it just really brought it back home for me.
Every day was a learning and spiritual experience. One of my favorite places was the Garden of Gethsemane, because that's where so much happened to Christ there, and the events that he was not wanting to go through for us, but the main thing that he said was God's will be done in his life, and that's what I feel in my life.
Just, I got closer to God while I was there, just walking where Jesus walked. It was a very amazing experience.
It has definitely impacted my life, and it's changed me. Just to have walked where Jesus walked, and I know that I've had an encounter with him. You cannot deny his existence or his in your own personal life after having been to the Holy Land.
Yeah, there's no question. Since we've been back, a number of sermons or things that I've read, and you can immediately relate because you've been there, you've seen it, you've walked, you've touched, you've looked, you've cried. You've gone through all the emotions. It was a very emotional trip, extremely emotional trip.
It's kind of hard to say what took place there. It's just such a wonderful place to go. For sure I would go back. It's an overwhelming experience, just too much for you to take it in all in one trip.
And like some of the folks we met who have been to Israel several times before and who confess that every year they are not sure if they would make the trip, we say like they do. See you in Israel next year.